right, so we got a question here. Really powerful. I want to buy your ebook. My boyfriend just asked me for a break last night for 1 week, and he is displeased with me. He said he will call in 1 week to let me know his final decision. He told me he doesn't want to show me love and affection anymore, and he doesn't think that I'm the one for him. I give him his space after a fight, and sometimes that works, but sometimes not. This last time, I decided to remain consistent in my behavior towards him, expecting nothing, just being there for him. It didn't work. He asked for a break anyway. We have been through a lot of crap. I don't know what to do. Thanks for reading. Lynn. A lot of people want what they can't have, and they want what they want when it's already too late and they've already damaged the situation beyond repair. And then at that point, people are usually throwing themselves a huge pity party at the same time. And they're completely in denial about how their own behaviors got them there. Probably in this entire relationship, you've been probably an emotional, chaotic mess with this guy. And this guy's finally fed up with it and he can't take it anymore. If he's saying that he doesn't want to be loving towards you, he doesn't want to be affectionate towards you, it sounds like you've been putting him through a lot, and it also sounds like you have not been honest with yourself about doing that. I think you're in some sort of bullshit fairy tale world where you think you can just do anything that you want and you're just going to end up with the relationship that you think you deserve. But the truth is that in order to deserve a good relationship, you have to be willing to put in the effort towards it. And you have to really take a long, cold, hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I doing? You need to ask yourself, what are you doing in your relationship? My guess is that you're not thinking about the future really at all in a constructive way. You're probably thinking about the future in a sort of, how do I control the future sort of way? You're probably thinking about, how do you get this guy to marry you? Or you're probably thinking about marriage, or you're probably thinking about things not working out in the future. The bottom line is that your mind is just in the future, in the wrong way. Whereas you're not really thinking positively or constructively about the future. You're not thinking about, what am I going to do to make sure that what I want comes true? And you're not thinking that way because you have probably a very passive victim mentality. You don't really put any sort of responsibility towards your life, and you're in a lot of denial about it. You think that things should just come to you. There are things that you have to do every single day in a relationship to make it work out. Relationships take work. They're not just going to fall into your lap and just be happy-go-lucky and everything's working out fine. The reason why that is because you've got a lot of emotional crap and a lot of emotional junk inside. If you were completely cleansed from the inside out, if you had a completely cleansed heart, you had no baggage inside, you had no dark energy inside, then you could just do whatever you wanted, because whatever you were going to do wouldn't have any of the hang-ups or wouldn't have any of the darkness around it. But there's a lot of things that you do that have and involve darkness, isn't there? There's a lot of things that you do because of your past, because of that time maybe you were cheated on, or maybe that time you were abandoned, or maybe that time you were screwed over or shafted. There's a lot of things and decisions that you do that are based on your past. And there's a lot of decisions that you do in the now moment that are based on the future. In other words, you're completely out of the now moment. You're in the past, you're reacting from things that have happened to you in the past, and then you're off in the future, thinking and contemplating things that probably you're going to end up bringing into your life. So you just need to come out of denial. You need to look at yourself long and hard in the mirror and really think about what it is that you're doing with your life, what you're doing with your relationships, and how you're deciding to treat the men that are in your life. Because it sounds like you treat him with a great deal of disrespect. No offense. But let's be honest. You probably just unleash your emotions on him whenever you feel like it, and he's had enough. So now he's saying he doesn't want to be a part of this anymore, and now you're freaking out about it. So now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, what are you going to do to make this right? Well, you're going to have to prove to him that you're going to make this right. You're going to have to basically become far more humble than you've been, far more submissive than you've been, and prove to him that you can be a good woman for him, that you can bring joy into his life, that you can bring contentment and balance into his life. Because right now, let's face it, he feels that you can't do any of those things. So you're really going to have to prove that you can do those things for him. You're really going to have to humble yourself. You're really going to have to humble yourself, because your pride is probably going to be the number one thing that's going to hold you back right now. And more than anything right now, you have to show him that you can be humble, that you can bring joy, that you can bring happiness into his life. Now, there's one other thing about being humble. You want to be humble, but you never want to supplicate. In other words, there's a difference between saying, I'm really sorry for what happened and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it up, rather than, please, please, please take me back. I'm so sorry. Please, please, please. There's an enormous difference between the two. You never want to lower yourself that far, then you become a doormat. But if you don't allow yourself to actually become humble, then your pride and ego is just going to be out of control. And you're going to start playing all these little stupid, dishonest games that 99% of women play. You're going to give him the cold shoulder when he gives you the cold shoulder. You're going to give him a taste of his own medicine. You're going to not call him back. You're going to do all these games just to try to get his attention, to try to manipulate him, in other words, into giving you attention. And that's all bullshit, and you know that. Every woman knows it's bullshit, but most women are in denial about it. And yet most women use those tactics. And they don't really work anyways, because all they'll do is stroke your own pride. They'll stroke your own ego. And they're not going to do really that much to get his interest or attention, because you're going to involve his ego, and then you have a clash of egos. So if you want to actually open his heart, if you want to actually connect with him on the level of the heart, then you have to be on the level of the heart yourself. You have to come to him with a compassionate attitude, with a non-judgmental attitude, with an attitude of wanting to understand, with a peaceful attitude, with a tranquil attitude, with a relaxed attitude. These are the things that are the most important things that you can think about or consider in a relationship situation, any situation with men. Your internal game. Where are you internally? Who are you as energy? When you see the results that you're getting, it's going to give you the answer as to who you have been being as energy. And I'm sorry if this is really hard for you to listen to, but I'm all about the hard truths. I'm all about the tough love, because the tough love is what most people, in fact, need, instead of just being told good things about your bad habits. These are the things that need to happen if you want to get this guy back. These are the things that need to happen. Do you understand? They have to happen, or else you're not going to get him back. That's why he's on a break with you. That's why this is the last straw for him. He's had enough, and he wants to know if you can actually give him those feminine qualities and that feminine energy that he's so desperate for. All men are desperate for feminine energy. Feminine energy is a very rare quality in this culture today. Most women are putting on the pants, if you will, getting out into the workforce and bringing home the bacon. Feminine energy is basically seen as weakness, while at the same time, most women are taking on all of the worst qualities and characteristics of men. Drinking beer, going out gambling. Feminine energy, you're not giving him enough. You're not giving him enough. And you're probably giving him too much emotionally chaotic energy, because your heart is very imbalanced and is not outputting a lot of love, is not outputting a lot of unconditional love and compassion. Those are things and qualities that you're severely lacking. So if you want to get serious about this situation, I do recommend that you pick up my ebook and not just say you're going to pick it up, because you're in a desperate situation. And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you just going to continue to let men walk out of your life and get frustrated with you and become unhappy with you Is that the way that you want to live your love life or your life in general? Is that the way you want to live with the most important person in your entire life? You want to have the most important person in your entire life be generally unsatisfied with you? That doesn't sound like a very fun existence to me. A more fun existence seems like being with somebody who sees you as their dream woman, who they feel fulfilled by you. That's a magical experience to have. Being with somebody who actually looks at you and has zero desire to be with anyone else because you fulfill them on very deep emotional levels. And they just couldn't imagine being with anybody else because they love you so deeply. How does that sound versus the other thing? And in fact, that's the way that I live my life. That's the way I want to live my life, and that's the way that I do live my life. And it takes a lot of responsibility. It has nothing to do with being a man or a woman. It has to do with taking responsibility for your own life. So you can pick up my ebook at www.yintegrity.com/store/ebook. And you can read all the details about the ebook there. The ebook's about $23. So I do highly recommend that you pick that ebook up. And I also highly recommend that you check out my emotional balancing system, because it really sounds like you have a lot of emotional issues going on. That's what he's really rubbing up against with you. That's what he's feeling energetically. Your emotions can actually go out into the world and penetrate into him without doing anything else. In fact, that happens a lot during sex. When you have sex with somebody, your energies merge together. Whatever emotions he's feeling, whatever energies he's feeling are going to move into you, and vice versa. Whatever emotions you feel are going to go into him. And once you become connected sexually, then you can just feel an emotion and it will go into him. It will actually leave your body. Energy in motion. That's what emotions are. Emotion, energy in motion. So your energy inside will actually move out of you and into his body. So if your energy is just all crazy and stuck and dark inside, you feel a lot of guilt, self-doubt, fear, grief, sadness, confusion. Any of those emotions are going to leave you and go into him. And even if you don't have a sexual connection with him, your emotions can still in effect move towards other people and move into them, like with your family, friends, and so on. So if your emotions are all, you have a lot of turmoil with your emotions, then you can bet that he's going to be feeling that. He's going to be feeling that on levels that he might not even understand. Men are not extremely intuitive. In general, men are not really that much in touch with their emotions. They can, however, feel their emotions. They just don't know what's happening a lot of the time. And they'll just react based on what they're feeling. Their emotions happen more on an unconscious level because there's a lot of repression stuff going on. We won't get into that in this video. The bottom line is that your emotions are going to affect him. So please check out my emotional balancing system. It's at yintegrity.com/store/EBS. So if you get your internal world handled and you actually are sending him positive energy, you can see a lot of change in his reaction towards you. You have a chance. You have a small chance at correcting this situation and making this and saving this relationship. You have a small chance. He's at his wit's end, but you do have a small chance. And you need to take, if you really want this to work out, you need to take every opportunity that you possibly can. Now, if you want to get in contact with somebody who can actually, help you directly, if you want to get into contact with me, then you can do so. You can send me an email at brandon@yintegrity.com. and we can get a coaching session set up. So don't be afraid to reach out to me if you have a similar situation as the questioner, or if you have anything else that you need help with, you have an emotionally pressing situation. You can reach out to me, reach out to anybody, don't be afraid to ask for help. So thank you for watching this video. Send me any questions and comments that you have, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Namaste.